Hey kids, welcome back. We got part two of our tips and tricks that are low cost or no cost to help you in your shop. Let's do it. Okay, here's a good one. Trying to drill a hole in the top of this table. Is this straight in? Is that straight in? Is that? Who knows? You can be off quite a bit. Even if you've got robot vision and you think you can line it up straight, you're probably off a little bit. So what do? Well, this from my friend and very smart guy, Mr. Ron Finney, head of the auto program at Ivy Tech, and a winning racer and expert on racing fuels. Pretty smart guy. Super basic. Not sure where he learned it, but he was kind enough to share it with me. It's basically just a little two pieces of, I believe, half by half angle iron. Just welded together right down the edge here. Doesn't have to be pretty or fancy. You want the inside edge kind of clean, but you clamp that on with vice grip, C-clamp, magnet, whatever. Hold it in place on whatever you want to do, and you just nestle this. I'll show you, almost like a V-block. Just nestle the bit right up against it, and if you hold it up there, I mean, you don't have to dig it into it, but if you hold it in there, it's going to go straight because this face is perpendicular to that face, which is the axis of your hole, so it's going to go right in. Like I said, nothing to it. You can weld this with any process you want. I think this was actually TIG welded, and it's just blip, a little bit of filler on there, nothing. Clean that up in the corner, and I've kept this. I use it quite often. I forget I have it sometimes, but man, it sure is handy because it's small enough you can put it anywhere you want to go, and you can make other versions of it. And if you need longer ones, taller ones, asymmetrical ones, whatever. I mean, you can knock a whole toolbox full of these out in 20 minutes maybe, and the materials is cheap. So there you go. It's a hole guide to make a what they'd call a normal hole on any surface. Okay, this one isn't going to make sense to you until you start thinking about it. But hey, hacksaw, so what? Everybody's got a hacksaw. Why are you showing this to me, Scotty? Well, you should know, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you, the rule of thumb for what tooth per inch you should use is you need 3 to 11 teeth engaged with the piece at all times. So, what's that mean? The thinner the part, the more the teeth, right? You got a big, coarse saw blade like this. It may not be engaged on a thin piece of sheet metal the way you want it to, and it just makes it harder to cut. People kind of ignore the usefulness of a hacksaw, but man, you're waiting for your air tool to charge back up, or you just don't want to drag it out to wherever you're working, if you're out on the farm or at the track or something like that. This doesn't need any batteries, and you can get it into some tight spots. But again, why am I showing you this hacksaw blade? Well, a hacksaw with the frame. Well, I got 3 of them going here. So what, do I got a hacksaw fetish? No. What's going on here is this one, if you might have seen here, it says 18 TPI. This one's got a big 24 on it. That's not, Jeff Gordon fan stuff. That's 24 teeth per inch. And then this crazy looking thing right here is 32. Now, why did I do all that? Because it is kind of a hassle, even with this one, that loads pretty quick. It's got a little quick release deal on here. But I never have to mess with it unless the blade's worn out, because I keep them all handy here, and I just grab the saw that I need for the type of material that I'm using. I'm cutting a piece of round bar or something, I'll grab this. I'm trying to, notch some sheet metal or something, I'm going to grab this. And hacksaw frames are cheap. This, I think, was maybe in the trash. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know if I inherited this one or not. I did pay for this one because it's just a cool old piece. It says made in Japan on it. Got the whole Doc Brown. That's why it failed. No, this was like, I don't know how old this is, but it's old. I mean, look, I don't got super big hands by any means, but hands barely goes in there. It's right after World War II when Japan was trying to crank some kind of products out, and it's really weird. It's like a piece of tube and this little almost like pistol grip on the back of it. I just thought it was just too cool. So this is my fine tooth right here. I got the middle of the road here, and I got my coarse one here. I don't have to mess with them. I just grab the one I need for the job, and you're ready. You're prepared for not a lot of money. Okay, you may have seen one of these before, and if you got one, I don't need to tell you what it is, but it is a air saw or a body saw. Basically, just got a reciprocating blade here, kind of like a baby sawzall almost, and it's really handy for getting into a tight spot, cutting off a panel or notching something. Pretty useful. They make kind of a racket. I've used this in plumbing before because you can kind of stick it into a tight spot and saw it off. But you might be saying that doesn't look like a normal saw blade on there. Well, it's not. Here's a pretty good way to save a little, at least time. Maybe not a whole lot of money. I think you can buy the blades for these things in bulk, but it's not as cheap as an old hacksaw blade, and that's what this is. Because if you notice, when your hacksaw blade gets worn out, the whole length of the blade is not dull. It's only a section of it. So you still got, 3/4 of the length that's good. Well, you don't need much for this. That blade, the tang of that sticks in about right there. But it's actually just I took a pair of dikes, side cuts, cut it off, put a little bit of angle on the end here. Probably didn't even need to. Stuck it in there. The other cool thing is, besides it being essentially free, is the fact that now you got a range of different tooth types and tooth counts that you can put in here for whatever you want to do. I just discovered this out of desperation one time. I broke my last blade, and I'm like, man, I got to finish this project. And I just happened to have this close to a hacksaw, and I said, man, this has got to work. I mean, this stuff is really brittle, so it doesn't exactly cut as much as it snaps, but so what? And you use it. This has been in here a long time. You use it till it's worn out. Keep that old hacksaw blade around, that dull one around, or buy new ones for that matter, because you can go on a Sunday afternoon at your local hardware store and get hacksaw blades, but they're probably not going to have blades for a air file. So that's where the savings might really be, is that you can get it anytime, anywhere. But kind of DIY air saw, body saw blades. Hope it helps. Okay, here's one. Kind of want to protect your air tools if you can. I'm sure everybody knows that. But if you got them hanging on a rack like I do, I've got some racks on a little cart, like a body shop cart, and it holds on to the air fitting and it kind of suspends it from that. That's great. It's really handy. It's almost like a holster. You can just pop it right out of there, hook it right back in. Even if you got them laying in a drawer, this is prone, okay? When you in use, that's sealed up. It's just got the air hose connected to it. But when it's not, it's open and anything can get down in there, bugs, dust, whatever. In my case, dust. I wanted to keep dust out. So what I got here is a little cap. Just kind of hooks around the fitting. You hook your disconnect up to it, and you're ready to rock. And this just kind of flops around, doesn't get in the way. What this piece actually is from a 3D printed file that I found. Looks like that. Just got a little tether on the end of it here that goes under the fitting, and then that cap snaps over on top of it. So, like a bottle cap for whatever, ketchup bottle or something like that, old restaurant style stuff. But you say, Scotty, I don't have a 3D printer. I don't want to mess with this stuff. Well, you might know somebody that does, or you can buy these things. They're kind of expensive, but it's worth protecting your tools. If you don't want to do any of that, just get a vacuum cap or something, just a rubber cap and put it on top of there. Now that doesn't have the advantage that, it stays where you're at and you can just put it back on with a tether, but at least you're capping this off and keeping dirt out of your tools, because they're rebuildable and all that stuff, and it take a long time to get a bunch of crap in there, but there's There's nothing worse than going to grab a tool and finding out it doesn't work, and then you got to stop, you got to fix it, you got to go get another one, whatever the case may be. I actually, on this one right here, because whoever did this, and it's just free to download, whoever did it, they did a nice job, but they built a heck of a stress riser into this because they got this really sharp corner. If they just kind of, radius that around there, and no offense to the original designer, but a lot of these have broken. It's just a lot of bending stress going in there when you're popping that cap on and off. So to kind of keep that from happening, I've just recovered mine with duct tape on one side and then trimmed it up to it. It makes them last a little longer, and if it does snap off, that duct tape keeps the cap from just falling off on the floor. So what I'm basically showing you is here, devise a way, whether it's doing something like this, if you got access to CAD tools, make your own design. Get it printed, print it, or just cap it off with a vacuum plug or something. Just keep that dirt out of there, because these things, even the Harbor Freight stuff that's $20, who wants to keep throwing them in a landfill and filling them up? You want it to last. You don't want to lose time. That's how we save money. Okay, magnets. They're magic, right? Well, don't throw any one away ever. You will use it. These blown out of speakers, they're laying on the floor in the junk pile here, but I'm going to knock the magnet off the back of them, and I'll use it to hold stuff in place when I'm welding it, or hold stuff down when I don't want it to blow away. If I'm reading an instruction manual and I'm outside looking at a wiring diagram, as soon as you lay that thing down, I guarantee the wind's going to pick up and blow it away. So keep these old magnets. They don't take up a lot of space. You can recycle the rest of it, but you get into a hard drive, and this tip I learned from Mr. Jerry Kirkpatrick that I've mentioned in the part 1 of this. You get into a hard drive, there's a magnet in there that it's really tiny, but it's super powerful. Now, I don't know if it's neodymium or what type of magnet it is, but I've got them on my little lathe over here. I got tools hanging off of it. It's awesome. And, you got an old hard drive at a computer, that's going to get destroyed anyway. So magnets, save them. Anything you got, like old speakers, those are free, right? Save them, use them. Okay, so you did what it said. You got some speaker magnets loose. You're using those, position some parts. Maybe you got some store-bought ones here too. Who knows? But man, they get filthy. They get metal shavings, weld wire, anything that a magnet will pick up. They tend to stick to them. They don't know when to stop. Well, what do you do to clean them? Because those things can get pretty sharp, and of course you're going to find the sharp parts with your bare hands, or even with a gloved hand, or they'll get in your shoes or something. That's no fun. What do you do to clean them? Well, there's 2 things. First of which, air hose. Point it away from yourself, and make sure you're not blowing it onto something or somebody that you don't want to get sprayed with little pieces. But you just take an air hose, blowgun, and just blow that off of there. I mean, it lets go. It'll blow that off of there. But maybe you have something down in a corner, you can't quite get it out. You want to get them nice and clean, which this one isn't too bad. I don't think I've cleaned it in a while. This one I need to clean. It's still got some stuff on there. Duct tape. Blow them off really good. Get them as clean as you can. You got some stragglers. Take a piece of duct tape. Just kind of tack that around there. Kind of pick it up. Kind of daub on it, and you'll pull all those shavings off of there, and it'll be nice and clean again. And you won't stab up underneath your fingernail and ruin your day. There you go. That don't cost nothing. Okay, so you got an old pair of channel locks, and the handle's got fiberglass resin, and they're cracking and busted, and you grab onto it, you can't really get comfortable with it. It's just, they're junky feeling and looking, and what do? Throw them in the trash, right? Hang on. You can make your own handles for very, very little. This is, these handles, I don't know if they're in the same shape or worse than this, but carefully took a box knife or something and sliced these off, peeled them off, cleaned them up really good, or maybe not so good, I don't remember, but basically took some electrical tape, wrapped around here, couple times, probably 3 times, I don't remember, because what I was trying to do is build it up enough, because the outer layer is heat shrink tubing right on here. That's all this is. It's the bigger stuff that starts out maybe like that wide. But this stuff's cheap. You can get that anywhere. Slide it on there. Get your heat gun, your hair dryer, lighter, whatever you want. It draws down on that, and these are surprisingly comfortable and durable. These are over 2 years old on here. This is probably a yard sale. I don't know, hand me down. Who knows these? But got these in my drawer. I don't throw any tools away. I love old tools, even when they're broken. But these got way better handles. This is factory stuff right here. I picked these up first. The handles are so much more comfortable on them. I can't express the feel in a video of it, but I'd say it's kind of like a leather wrapped steering wheel is kind of what it feels like. So you kind of cushions into your hand a little bit if you're cranking on it or something. It just isn't going to slip out either. If your hands are wet or something, it's something you can hang on to. Free and next to near cheap. Okay, who doesn't have a set of these, right? They're hex drivers. Well, I don't really have a set of these. Pretty much all these I picked up one at a time as I needed the right size. And, maybe I got to where it was late at night or didn't want to leave the house or whatever. And I said, man, I got to have one. How do I fix it? Well, these two on the end here, I think there's some small metric sizes or something. I don't remember what they are. It really doesn't matter because the same idea can be used for any size that you want. Hex keys, they're so cheap. I mean, pretty much anytime you buy some kind of goofy piece of furniture or whatever, they're going to throw a hex key in there because it doesn't cost anything. So I've got boxes and drawers of these things. Some of them are sorted out, some of them aren't. But I also got a bunch of El Cheapo sockets here too. That's pretty much what I did here. I cut the length down, glued it into the old junky socket because the socket may not hold very well, but it'll hold this, especially when it's glued. So now I got me a hex driver. I think in this case, this was for a special job, but that's the beauty of doing this. I needed something, that would go way down in a hole maybe. I don't know if this is for ignition modules or what, but I cut it up, glued it in there. I'm not saying go out and make you a whole set of these, but if you need a weird size, you probably got a hex key or an Allen wrench laying around that isn't worth anything. And these sockets, this is thrift store garbage stuff that you probably wouldn't want to turn a bolt on, but it'll hold these pieces of hex key, and you got the size you need when you need it. Lose one of these at a junkyard, it's not going to make you cry. You lose a Snap-on or Mac or Matco or something in there, yeah, that's a bad day. So make your own hex drivers, next to nothing. Okay, this was another kind of desperation move, but it worked out really well. This has been on here for a while. The factory elbow fitting on this was, this is a 94. This is on my Cutlass convertible that's also on the channel, featuring kind of a walk around of that. I'm going to check that one out. But I needed this fitting here. There's some kind of semi-rigid vacuum tubing here, and it had a elbow kind of on the same material. It was split. I mean, not somebody had tried to electrical tape it up, and this is vacuum leak. It just didn't work. I needed it really quick. I might have been able to find one, but what are you looking for exactly? This is a spark plug boot. This is out of the junkyard, some old tiller engine or something I had out back. Wire was junk, so I said, that's about the right size, and it was real close. It slipped onto this fitting here, like it was perfect. I mean, it seals up really nice on the hard tubing end here, flexible tubing end here. it had a little, it has kind of like a little swaged area on it too, and it was a little tight. So I just took a drill bit and just kind of reamed that out, cleaned it out, blew it out really good. Snaps on there, man. It's snug. I mean, it's better than the factory one. Spark plug tube boot, spark plug boot, vacuum elbow, pretty much free. All right, this is a pretty good one. So you got a engine crane, cherry picker, um, shop press, floor jack, whatever. Where do you put that handle? You know, there's really no storage location for it. Well, here's a simple, cheap answer. It's a couple of these little clips here. They're meant for holding brooms and such. Nothing to them. They don't really cost a whole lot. I got a giant bag of them here. Let me see. That's what they look like. Kind of flimsy on the surface, but when you mount them right, get them in line, they do pretty good. You can basically just kind of push your handle back in. I'm doing this one-handed. There you go. You can put them anywhere. Doesn't really matter. Get this little tiny floor jack that, you know, throw in the trunk of the car when I need it. But where do you put that handle? I did the same thing. I just put one right on the side there. I think this one's got rivets on it. The one in the engine crane here has got screws, but it just doesn't matter. I mean, you know, mount it however you want. They don't cost a whole lot of money, and this is the kind of thing that's on every little, like, kitchen organizer, shop broom, whatever you want to call it, rack. And if you get lucky, you can go to a thrift store and find these little clips and get them for maybe $1, you know, because there's not much to them. You know, if you look at them online, people complain because they're trying to hang a contractor shovel, you know, union shovel or something up here. Well, they're not meant to hold that. And two of these, this don't really weigh a whole lot. Like I said, there you go. Popped it right back in there with one hand. Didn't take much. Way better than leaving it in the jack here, the ram, because that falls out and, you know, just makes you mad. So keep it stored. There's other ways of doing it, but man, this is super cheap, easy. Anybody can do it. Well, how about that? Those are pretty good, right? If they helped you out, please like, subscribe, share, do that homework, and let's always dare to be different. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later on Smith Motorworks.